Hello, my name is Neeraj Suri from Lancaster University in the UK. I'm leading the activity on the Concordia Cybersecurity Roadmap for Europe. And in this introductory video, I'm going to give you a brief outline on the perspectives on how we are developing this roadmap. Now, by definition, any roadmap is outlines a path and the prioritized investments that are needed to achieve a given objective. And the objective is cybersecurity in this specific instance. Now, cybersecurity is a huge area. There are multiple dimensions: hardware, software, networks, tools, data, industrial specific data issues, and the others, as I've already mentioned. And naturally, this security landscape is going to be fragmented. And there exists a series of very laudable activities, some of them being the one by the Red Book, the EXO, the NIS Working Group 3, which have tried to create different roadmaps along the different dimensions. But again, as I mentioned earlier, the landscape is fragmented. And there's a whole series of upcoming activities which the pilots are also leading. And obviously, they reflect the perspectives of the participants, and they naturally cover different parts of the security stack, which turns out to be technology and applications in most cases. And obviously, there will be gaps based on the background of the people. Concordia tries something different. Firstly, Concordia takes a very holistic viewpoint on security, emphasizing that security is more than just technology. Is the combined usefulness and usability that is both the technology and the users that provides the needed end-to-end security across the full data chain. And I'm going to emphasize the data chain again. Concordia takes the viewpoint that instead of focusing on specific elements of hardware and software or networks, or whatever your favorite emphasis point would be, we look at security from a very simple data viewpoint, that data is collected, data is transferred, data is analyzed and utilized, and it is providing security for this entire data chain that is needed. So our intent is not to build yet another roadmap. As I mentioned earlier, many activities have already built fantastic roadmaps. And what we intend to do to start with is to do a gap analysis across the different roadmaps that exist and use it as a basis for forward-looking projections. Equally importantly, as I mentioned earlier, that it is the usefulness and the usability that will determine the roadmap for us. So our approach is to consolidate the different views of security that are there, outline the different dimensions that exist for cybersecurity, and then set the priorities for stakeholders and policymakers. The emphasis here being that we want to set the priorities for the stakeholders and policymakers at the EU level. We are very cognizant that there are certain technologies which are simply not in the EU's emphasis domain, and it is not realistic to change it, so we also accommodate those ones. And in order to cover the whole end-to-end security data chain, the elements that will go in the Concordia cybersecurity roadmap will cover technology. Again, the complete spectrum of technology. I've already mentioned hardware, software, networks, operating systems, middleware, tools, different aspects. But to inculcate the user aspects, we also specifically look at the legal dimensions needed to achieve cybersecurity at the EU level, and equally important, the economic aspects of providing security. Security comes at a certain cost, and this trade-off analysis of how much does it cost to provide certain amount of security, we think is a very important aspect of setting up a roadmap. This is just the beginning. There are many other dimensions. I have indicated education as one of the dimensions out here. We will also be focusing on industry, SMEs, large industry, policy, standardization, certification issues. So this is just the beginning to outline what are the different dimensions of the roadmap we are interested in. So stay tuned, and in the subsequent videos, we will go into more details of the different activities that we will be covering in the Concordia cybersecurity roadmap. Thank you.